Hello, namaste. My name is Tim Halloran. I'm an astrologer from Savannah, Georgia. This is a very belated, abridged, and impromptu weekly astrology forecast. So I've been very down and out the last 5 or 6 days with some intense flu-like symptoms. So I've been trying to practice what I preach and not be overly forceful, but I'm really dying to get this information to you guys, so I'm going to do my best to try and relay what I can, although my brain is not exactly working correctly yet. So let's talk about what's going on, because there is a lot going on. I was the least bit of surprised coming down with this illness. There is just so much to process, and when we get overburdened with too many things to process, this is the natural way to handle things. So over the last weekend we had a moon in Aquarius, Mother's Day weekend. On Monday the moon entered Pisces. On Wednesday the moon entered Aries. Tomorrow the moon will enter Taurus, and then come Monday early in the morning we have a new moon in Taurus. Now also, this past Monday, Mars entered Gemini. And Mars in Gemini I like to think of as the juggler. Mars in Gemini is a busy bee. Mars in Taurus the last couple months has been a kind of go at your own pace, steady and persistent. Mars in Gemini is all over the place. So much to do, so little time. So many different little facets and areas call our attention. It can make us seem like we're all a little bit, frazzled, spread all over the place. And we do have Mercury stationing right now. And Mercury is going to turn retrograde on Monday and stay retrograde throughout the month of June. This entire retrograde is happening in the sign of Gemini. And this is also this kind of frazzled state that we can certainly be in right now, as these planets are changing signs, as stuff is shifting around. And what I recommend to kind of counterbalance this Gemini frazzledness, Gemini can kind of be this bipolar, all over the place, so many things to juggle, so many things to keep track of. It's good to keep in mind the polarity of Sagittarius. Sagittarius is kind of the bird's eye, universal, sees the whole nature of everything type of perspective. And Sagittarius is also intuitive, which means that with all of these things to do, so little time, so much scheduling, so many meetings, it's like we can over-rationalize these things very easily. That's when the wheels spin faster and faster and faster and they start to overheat. That's called over-rationalization. That means we're thinking too much about the bits and pieces and we start losing perspective of the overall picture. So with all of these wheels spinning really quickly, it might be nice to kind of back off and get this kind of overall general big picture bird's eye view. And that's kind of what I'm hoping to lay out this week in this report. Because there are a number of things that are lining up right now that are kind of a part of this bigger picture. And one of these things is that Saturn is moving back into Scorpio. And Saturn will officially enter Scorpio again in June. Now this is a reflection of 2012 to the end of 2014. Saturn has already been in Scorpio those 2 years. Moved ahead into Sagittarius most of 2015 thus far. Turned retrograde, is now about to move back into Scorpio. Now Saturn in Scorpio is pretty intense. It's serious, real, karmic business. Saturn in Scorpio essentially forces us to look at our own shadows, at our own complexity, at our own karma, at the complexity of our entanglements with other relationships, our karma in other relationships. And we can start looking at generational karma, going back into the past, our childhood and families, and how we are transforming this. So Saturn in Scorpio is really a purging time. It's about finding these deeply rooted fears, insecurities, blocks that are preventing us from being free, from being light, from being spontaneous. So this is an opportunity to purify, to purge, to remove any unwanted feelings, behaviors, habits. And we really need to see the Saturn moving back into Scorpio as a grand opportunity to do this kind of transformation, to do this kind of purging out process. It's very, very important that we see it in the true light that it is. An opportunity to clear ourselves, to transform, to evolve. Saturn in Scorpio is essentially forced evolution. We have to look at the shit that we are surrounded by, so we are forced to evolve. And of course, this happens on the individual level and the collective level. Now, the reason this is so relevant right now is because we had a full moon in Scorpio 2 weeks ago about. This full moon in Scorpio about 2 weeks ago would have been an illumination of these areas and potentially a foreshadowing of what's to come throughout this summer. And what's coming throughout this summer is the culmination and completion of the long-term phase we have been going through since 2012. Purging, transforming, evolving. We are going to be reinvestigating these issues, culminating and completing these issues from June until September 2015, when Saturn moves back into Sagittarius. So the reason I'm bringing this to our attention is because we have a new moon come Monday, and this is why I wanted to put this video out. This is what I want to make other people aware of, is a new moon is really a time of sowing a seed of intention. What we want to grow in the future, what we want to see blossom. It's a good time to do magic. It's a good time for ritual. As we're going to discuss, there is a number of aspects going on this week that makes this an opportune time to get really deep into these very potent spiritual truths and unconditional love and service to others and these types of things. Of course, the challenging aspect this week that I failed to mention was Mars opposite to Saturn. That would have been exact early in the morning this morning. Mars opposite to Saturn. So Mars entered Gemini on Monday. This is the speeding up, the juggling, so many things to do, so little time. Then comes into an opposition with Saturn. This has been forming through this entire week. This is a classic, so many things to do, and yet there is a block. There is a limitation. There is a challenge. This is typical Saturn-Mars. So this could be, oh, I'm very sick. I'm not capable of doing the amount of work I normally would be. I am forced to do something differently. Or I have a number of errands to attend, and I'm hitting every single red light. And so again, the recommendation with this is to practice Sagittarius, see the big I point of view, not lose our cool just because we didn't make one appointment or the next, and to remain intuitive and flexible. Most importantly, flexible. I'm trying to exemplify flexibility this week because I'm the type of person that freaks out. It's a weekly report. It's supposed to be a weekly astrology report. I'm failing my viewers, etc. All right, so this is now fading out this week. Tomorrow, we have Venus in trine to Neptune. Venus is in Cancer now, trine to Neptune. This is a very watery, mystical, warm, loving aspect. There's also so much creativity that's possible with this. And we've got some very powerful asteroid aspects going on. I think the most powerful one this week is that we had asteroid Vesta in Pisces conjunct wounded healer Chiron in Pisces. And they're both opposing Black Moon Lilith in Virgo. And this aspect I really see as the medicine woman. The medicine woman, not the medicine man, the medicine woman. This is feminine energy, this is feminine opportunity, and this is highly spiritual. This is selfless service, this is unconditional love, this is medicine put into form, put into practice, made into a reality. And I like to think of this as grace, yes, this kind of feminine, highly spiritualized energy as grace. Yes, we might have heard this prayer, Mother Mary full of grace. Mother Mary is Virgo, the Virgin. Virgo is full of grace. What does it mean to be full of grace? Virgo is purifying, is selfless, is serving to others, and is medicine. Taking care of other people. I want to uplift you. I want to heal you. Healing is Virgo. So I see all of these things as grace. And really when I see these aspects going on, this is a selfless aspect. This is a week of understanding that the more I focus on myself, my trivialities, the drama that's going on with me, it just makes my life hell. But if I can broaden my perspective to include other people, if I can shift my focus to provide care to others, it's remarkable how much better I feel automatically. in no time at all. This is really a week to practice this understanding of how this selfless service is really our own best form of grace for ourselves. And really, this is also the understanding of, we don't have to even believe that so many things are as selfish as we have been taught. And what I mean by this is, me being sick means that I am forced to take care of my body. I have to go to the store, get medicine, get good food. Is that selfish though? Well, if I look at it from the point of view as me, it's my body, my health, I need to get better for myself, to make money, to get a job, then yes, that is kind of self-centered. But if I look at it as in my body, which is kind of like a universe in itself, I mean, it's like this topographical map with all of these craters and mountains, and there are innumerable beings living within this topographical, universe in itself. If I look at it that way, well then taking care of my body is not selfish. It's taking care of my body, which is like property. It's like taking care of your house. Is it selfish to take care of your house if you're doing it for selfish reasons? If you're doing it to take care of your surrounding environment, then it's not selfish. Then it's medicinal. It's graceful. It's healing. So the reason I'm bringing all this up is because I want us all to collectively sow a very powerful seed of intention on this new moon coming up early in the morning Monday. And on new moons I recommend doing some kind of conscious prayer, conscious ritual, spiritual practice, whatever you do. Simply make it even more of a conscious practice on a new moon, because this is using nature to our advantage medicinally. And a new moon in Taurus is about sowing a seed of intention for our own comfort, our own good health in our body, and our own sanctuary and stability in our surrounding environment. Why is it so important that we all collectively put in this seed of intention on Monday? Because Saturn is moving back into Scorpio throughout the next several months, up until September. Taurus is the opposite of Scorpio. We need to balance out all of this craziness, this tumultuousness, this tumbling, crazy, fast-paced summer that we're going to be entering collectively. This summer is a real hot, fast-paced transformer. 2015 itself is this hugely fast-paced transformational year. And summertime is kind of going to be this culminating peak point of it. So why don't we put in some really nice sound intention into this new moon to have some nice grounding polarity to all of this transformation, evolution. I mean, it can just feel like you're getting pounded again and again and again. So what we need is we need stability. We need comfort. We need to feel good in our own bodies. We need to feel good in our immediate environment. We need to have security that not all is going to get thrown out the window. Just because emotions start to get brought up, just because things do change, that doesn't mean it's the end of the world. So let's put some good intention this Monday into the world not ending this summer. Let's create a solid foundation beneath our feet that can take us through anything, including hell and back. Because the concept of hell is one of the most misunderstood in our day and age, and most of us are seriously wounded by the misconception of hell. Hell is not where you go to be punished. Hell is where you go to free, liberate, and heal other people. Therefore, we're collectively going to be going into the collective human history's darkness this summer because we have some stuff to clean up. All is not perfect here on Earth. There are some corners that need dusting. There is some corrections that need to be made. Some changes are necessary. Okay, and that's fine. We need to do that, understanding that it's not punishment confronting these things. Oh no, everything's not already perfect. I'm being punished because I'm on hell. No, we come to hell intentionally to bring heaven here, to make it different, to change it. In order to do that, we need the inner stability to know what we are doing. Okay, so we have this nice Vesta Chiron aspect going on this week. We've got the new moon we can put lots of intention into for stability, for comfort in my own body. And this is a nice fusion of understanding it is not selfish by creating my own sanctuary, my own stable environment. No, no, no. Those are deeply perverted, misunderstood concepts coming from man-made religion and patriarchal culture for thousands of years. that don't focus on your comfort, your body, your own stability, and your own health, because that's not fighting wars. That's not taking care of your family, slaving away at a desk job, when in fact, when you're fighting wars and slaving away at the desk job, you're not helping your family. So we actually need to harness this energy within ourselves and take ownership of our own sanctuary. That's what this new moon on Monday is. Take ownership of our own sanctuary, our own kingdom of heaven, our own Garden of Eden is in our own bodies. We need not feel uncomfortable being in our own bodies. Our body is the vessel that is going to take us through hell and back. Therefore, let's make sure that our body is a nice working vessel that can do this for us. Okay. Now also this Sunday we've got asteroid Juno conjunct Jupiter in Leo. And I talked a little bit about this before, but we're going to just skip to the chase and talk about the essence of what this is. And I feel like this is just a complete meeting of the minds and what is most important to us and what we feel we need to express. What are we broadcasting? What are we illuminating onto the rest of the world? This is an opportune time for us to come together in our intimate partnerships and feel right like we are meeting together. Let's have a common cause. Let's fight a common fight. And let's maybe not make the enemies people. Let's make the enemies, say, the perversion of the past. Something nicer. But the point is that we're coming together, we're meeting together on the same level. We have this energy that can make us kind of more tuned in with the selfless medicine woman potential of ourselves. This means that we can heal ourselves and other people, not necessarily doing it the conventional way, which is the patriarchal masculine way. Actually, the most medicinal energy right now is the medicine woman, which is the energy of grace. Grace is soft. When we think of grace, we think of someone graceful. That means that they're flowing in harmony. Someone who dances gracefully, flows gracefully with the other dancers. There's no push or shove or any of that. That's the medicine we need. And so this Mars-Saturn has been the challenge this week. Next week, we'll talk about next week, is going to be Venus opposite to Pluto, Saturn opposite to the Sun. We're still going to have these challenges, and this is why it is so important for us to intend, pull our energy, our intuition, our whatever it's called, into trying to make sure that we are in a position of grace, that we are flexible, go with the flow, not being overly forceful, being ultra forgiving, ultra trying to understand other people's perspective, and let's harness in and manifest this new moon in Taurus energy that is grounded, that makes me feel safe in my body, safe in my environment, safe within myself, no matter where I am or where I go. Because on the day of this new moon, Mercury turns retrograde. It's going to square Neptune 3 times throughout its retrograde period. Next week, Gemini season begins. It's going to keep getting quicker. It's going to keep getting more fast-paced and intense. And we just got to see it for what it is, accept it for what it is, and be prepared. Yeah, that's the Boy Scout motto, be prepared. It's one of my favorite mottos, I guess. And, you know, that with that motto in mind, you know, it's like you pack up your backpack, you got your compass, and this is the nice part about having Saturn in Sagittarius the majority of 2015 so far, is that we've gotten some major intuition, we've gotten upgrades, we've gotten deeper perspective, which has come through scrutiny. We've had to figure out these new perspectives. Oh, there's a new compass. Oh, your compass is a little outdated. Here, have this fancy new compass. This is going to make your travels so much easier. Great! I'm all the more prepared now. I'm all the more prepared for this summer, for this wormhole we're going into, for this culmination and completion of the transformation I've been going through since 2012. Bring it on. I'm going to create my stability. I'm going to create my sanctuary. I'm going to create heaven within myself. And then I'm going to invite change and transformation and evolution, because bring it on. That's why I'm here. I'm a healer. I'm a medicine woman. I live through grace and flexibility. I change as the environment changes. I don't fight nature, I am one with nature. So let this wisdom soak into us. Let the depth of our own intuitive medicine woman speak to us. And let us put that depth and that intuition into practice, into ritual, into prayer and intention come Monday, so we can create this nice little raft to take us through the rest of the year. All right. Now I'm going to be doing a special through June 21st. That's the summer solstice. Because I do see the summer being a little more intense. So there's going to be free transit readings with all birth chart readings through June 21st. Now that being said, if you schedule now, it can be 2 to 3 months before your transit and birth chart reading come around. So I'm doing this now so we can have charts going through the summertime and people can get free transit readings so we know what's going on through the summer. However, we do need to be patient. It's going to be until June, July, August until these charts get turned around if you order them now. But from now until June 21st, we're having a summer solstice sale, which means that all birth chart readings come with a free transit reading, which means that we can discuss not only your evolutionary themes for this life, not only your own individual, brilliant, unique depth, but we can see how the energy is affecting you on the personal level this summer and this year. What individual and natural movements and cycles we are going through, and how we are learning, how we are growing, what we are learning, what we are growing. I don't know. All right, I'm going to stop this recording. All the best to you and your beloveds. Speak to you next week. Namaste.